Alright, hello everyone. So, back here with yet another garage review because I want to get a lot of these garage reviews out of the way for tanks that I have on here but don't actually have on PC World of Tanks. And one of them is this, the Panzer IV/5, aka the Panther, with a Panzer IV turret on top. So, yeah, it's pretty obvious that this is just a Panther with a Panzer IV turret stuck on top with the Panzer IV's 75mm gun, because that's what it was designed for. It's a test chassis. It was never designed to go in combat, and therefore this thing was never really supposed to see other tanks, but in case it did, this is how it looks. Yeah, it's a Panther with a Panzer IV turret. There's nothing more you can say about it. But this is a Tier 5 premium German medium tank, and I've wanted it on World of Tanks PC for years, and so when I saw it on Blitz, I thought, I have to have it. It may only be Blitz, but it's a Panzer IV 5/4, so yeah, here we go. Because this thing was only given out to like alpha testers on World of Tanks PC, and they had it in the premium store on Blitz, so I thought, yep, going for it on Blitz, and here it is. So it has got 26% protection, 29% firepower, 49% shot effectiveness, and 48% maneuverability. And I'm looking at it, hit points 700, which for Tier 5, that's a decent amount, I guess. Looking at the Chino Kai here, that's 720 HP. It's probably going to be in the low end, just going to point that out. I don't actually have any other Tier 5 mediums. What Tier 5 mediums do we have? Well, for example, you've got the Comet, and the Comet with the upgraded turret has got, come on, scroll up, has got, wow, okay, we're not looking at Tier 7, I'm screwing this up. Looking at Tier 6, so Tier 6, the Cromwell, 960 hit points. Wow, that's a lot of hit points for a fairly overpowered tank. Right, so yeah, that's a lot of hit points for a Tier 6 medium. Let's have a look at something that isn't British. For example, the Cheeto. The Cheeto has got, come on, Cheeto has got 970 HP. Wow, Panzer IV 5/4 really doesn't have a good hit point pool, does it? It's because I'm looking at Tier 6. I'm screwing all this up, aren't I? Yes, I am. The British, in which case, don't actually have a medium tank. At tier 5, okay. At Tier 5 you got the Chino. Alright, let's do this properly. Alright. 720 HP for the Chino. Right, good. So the British don't have Tier 5 medium other than the Matilda Black Prince, which has got 750 HP. Which is a fair amount of HP. What about the Germans? Yeah, not going to make the mistake of not choosing a Tier 5 medium, so we've got the Panzer IV with the upgraded turret, has got 710 hit points. Panzer 3/4 with the upgraded turret has got 680 hit points. Ooh, that's a fairly low amount of hit points. What about the Panzer T25, 760? That's a decent amount of hit points. What about the M4 Sherman with the upgraded turret? Let's go 700. Yeah, so about the same. So it's in the more lower end of Tier 5 medium tank HP, but it's not that far off really. It's in the low end, but you can deal with the low end. So let's go back to it. So yeah, hit points. As for hull armor, front 85mm, side 40, rear 40, turret 50 at the front, 30 at the sides and rear. Yeah, it's a Panzer IV turret. What do you expect? Crappy frontal turret, crappy side, and crappy rear armor. As for these things don't actually do anything. They're there to stop bazookas and shaped charges from actually getting to the side of the turret. Yeah, they're there for more for sort of anti-infantry, anti-tank weapons than any actual armour. They're like 5mm thick there, they're pretty useless. The only thing that they'll be useful for is stopping heat, if a heat shell happens to go towards your turret area. But even then, these sides have been left open to actually get to the hatches, but the crew don't actually enter and exit, so those should really be closed to help, but no, they're not. They've just left it open like that. But as for the front, 85mm front, sloped, and yeah, slightly sloped at the front and rear, because it is, in all essence, a Panther chassis, which means that with some angling you could probably get some decent bounces with this. But then again, the Panther, not really known for its armour, I don't think. At medium to long ranges, angle, definitely, this is going to be a very tough thing to get through, but well, this lower glacis is fairly weak, and these sides, unless you angle up, these sides are also pretty weak as well. What did I say they were? 40mm side and rear armour. So, yeah, not really going to be bouncing much from there. What else? 40 weight tons. So it weighs 40 tons, which is fairly weighty, but it does have a 700 horsepower engine, which means it does have a admirable speed limit of 55 kilometers per hour, which is not that bad. 30 degrees per second traverse, and again 30 for the hull traverse, which is not that great, but it'll do, I suppose. Let's have a look at... Yes, actually, let's have a look at the turret. So the turret it has is 50, 30, 30, yeah, pretty crap. 30 degrees per second reverse speed, 240 meters view range, which is not that bad. That's a pretty good view range. 4,620 kilograms. That's a fairly weighty turret, but it is a Panzer IV turret. As for the engine, 700 horsepower, 20% chance of fire and impact. Weighs 1,200. It is the Maybach HL 230P30 engine. As for the suspension, low limit of 44 tons, which is good enough. You can fit many things on here and not reach that, so yeah. Traverse speed of 30 degrees per second, yeah. Weighs 15,000 kilograms, yeah, not tons. If it was tons, then it would be useless, because it would just be too heavy to move. But now let's move on to the guns. Here it is, the 75mm Kampfwagenkanone 40 L48. So it has a 7.45 rounds per minute rate of fire, which is decent enough. 110mm of AP, 158 with APCR, 20 with high explosive. Yeah, crap, high explosive. That'll get you through a tier 2, not a tier 5. Average damage 160 with APCR, 200 with high explosive. Yeah, high explosive. What do you expect? Not that good dispersion really. 0.39 meters. Aim time is decent enough. It's standard 2.3 seconds, and it weighs 500 kilograms. So the penetration is not that good. That is one of the downfalls of the Panzer V/4 that people have commented on. The AP is not really that good. But the damage is pretty standard of a 75mm gun. Yeah, what do you expect? So yeah, that's going over the base stats there. Holds 124 rounds of 75mm though, which is that's enough to get you through many battles. I fitted a gun rammer because gun rammer is always useful, and improved vents I fitted because improved vents. Enhanced gun lane drive, you don't need it. 2.3 seconds is fairly respectable. That's pretty standard aim time, so you don't really need that. Amarek, in case your Amarek keeps getting damaged, yeah, wet Amarek. It doesn't actually get tanks filled with CO2, which is odd. So if you keep getting set on fire, then there's no way of stopping that other than fit more fire extinguishers. But yeah, you can only give your Amarek your ability, not your full tanks for some reason. Enhanced torsion suspension, plus 30% suspension durability. Yeah, you could do. You're a fairly mobile medium tank. You could go with that if you want. Caminet, binos, yeah, probably not. You don't really have the penetration to be a sniper. That's really the problem here. You can probably work with the dispersion, but the binos, caminet, penetration, yeah, you're probably not going to be able to get through things if you're a sniper. Coated optics is always useful. Sporeliner, nah, pretty crappy armour. I would say no, don't bother with that. If you're going to fit something, probably fit toolbox, because toolbox is always useful. So as for your provisions, yeah, you've got chocolate and chocolate bar for +3 and +10. crew mastery respectively. Then you've got your standard fuel and your improved fuel for plus 3% to engine power and turret traverse, or plus 10, so depending on how much credits you want to spend on this. Then you've got your protective kit, plus 15 protection to crew of, or plus 15% protection of the crew from injuries, 10% speed of module repairs, 20% fire protection, and 10% ammo rack and fuel tank durability. So yeah, if you really want to mount provisions, then sure, go ahead and do that. As for your consumables, I've gone with the standard repair kit, first aid kit, fire extinguisher, automatic fire extinguisher, multi-purpose restoration pack. I would say probably only go with that if you're going with either adrenaline or engine power boost, or both of them even, because I think these things are much more useful, because using that once you'll have a 90-second cooldown, when really if it's only a tank that you're repairing and you only want to repair that, using this thing you've got a 90-second cooldown where if one of your crew gets injured you can't heal him up because you've already used it. So yeah, which is why I say go first aid kit, repair kit, and automatic fire extinguisher as your standard consumables. If you really want plus 20% to load speed and plus 10% chance of damaging enemy vehicle modules, then sure, go with adrenaline plus a couple of these maybe. Or if you want plus 20% to engine power for 15 seconds with a cooldown of 75 seconds, then sure, go with that again. But I think if you're not going with either of those, then just go with the 3 standard consumables. So there's your consumables and equipment. As for your crew, Blitz does things weirdly, so yeah, I can't really comment on your crew. Up to you, really. So yeah, that's the tank. Overall, I like this tank. I've wanted it for a while. Penetration, not that good. Also, gun depression, really terrible. It's like 3 degrees downwards, and you're stuck because look at that. The turret's right in the middle. You've got loads of tank everywhere in front of you. The thing is, you have better depression when you're looking over the side of the hull firing broadside. So if you have your turret pointing this way, you have better gun depression looking down that way than you do from the front, because you have this entire bit of the tank before you have any free space for your gun to move. So the same thing with the back, so it's sort of odd that you have better gun depression this way and this way rather than this way and this way, but yeah, it's a small turret with a low set gun, because it is after all a Panzer IV turret on a fairly high chassis, being a Panther. So yeah, the gun depression not that good. Gun elevation is, I think it's alright. It's the same as the standard Panzer IV gun elevation because it is a Panzer IV turret. But yeah, overall I like this thing. If you can work with the gun depression, it can be a bit frustrating at times because yeah, the gun depression is very bad. But if you can work your way around that and the pretty terrible penetration, I think it's a good tank, and I do like it. So yeah, there's the Panzer V/4 garage review. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.